Arizona has been feeling the impact of the tropical storms off the coast of Mexico. They recently put a huge damper on my plans. The place I wanted to travel to and film at was deemed unsafe for the exact days that I was supposed to be there. I was pretty bummed. I ended up turning my car and my attitude around and decided that if the storms are here, why not film them? Here's what I saw. Right now we are heading south on Highway 89A coming out of Flagstaff, Arizona, and making our way into the famous Oak Creek Canyon, arguably one of the best scenic drives in the entire state. Whether it's fall, winter, spring, or summer, this drive is always an adventure. I was hoping to catch some of those vibrant autumn colors, but they weren't poppin' just yet. I do plan on coming back in a couple of weeks, so hopefully I can catch a glimpse of them when I do return. The forecast for this day said that it was supposed to start raining fairly soon. Although this can be a very dangerous road when it does rain, it makes for a great place to see flash floods and waterfalls when you're exiting the canyon. The clip you're seeing now is from 1 year ago, and just a quick public service announcement for anyone taking this road, there are lots of switchbacks here, and it can seem like a nerve-wracking drive if you're a newbie. Just a heads up for those that might be hauling something or driving an RV full of kids and a spouse that has a fear of heights. The drive down the switchbacks does go by pretty quick, but when she's yanking your arm and screaming obscenities into your ear, it feels like an eternity. The weather up in the higher elevations can change on a dime. The forecast for rain seemed like it kept getting pushed back every time I checked my phone, so I took advantage of this golden opportunity to send my bird up in the sky and capture some views of the canyon and the Red Rock. Here's what I saw. Sedona, Arizona is one of the most visually stunning destinations in the American Southwest, and it's a place that I don't visit and make videos at as much as I should. But the more I think about that, it's probably a good thing. If I came out here all the time and put it on video, I feel like it would lose its visual punch, so I try to regulate my trips. The panoramic vistas make it extremely hard to drive sometimes because when I should be keeping my eyes on the road, they always seem to wander. But can you blame me? The Red Rock here is so captivating, and I always tell people that even if you couldn't get out to explore, hike, or partake in the many activities Sedona has to offer, it's still quite the treat to drive through here and take everything in. And sometimes that's hard to do, especially if it's your first time here. Whether you're coming in from the north or the south, it's a non-stop visual thrill ride, and when you think it couldn't get any better, it gets better. Now the forecast for rain and the chance of seeing a flash flood on this drive were starting to seem uncertain, but trust me when I say, I still have a lot to show you guys. Curious to see what the south side of town was looking like, I landed my drone and drove further down the road. On a side note, do not let Instagram, Google, and the television make you think that Sedona is this perfect place. Traffic sucks here in the warmer months, and it usually backs up like my girlfriend's dad after eating Taco Bell. Sorry to put that image in your head, but you get the idea. Just take your time and respect others. I figured while we wait for the rain to get here, and it'll probably be here very soon because I'm starting to hear some rumbles in the distance, I wanted to go check out this really old bridge, and if I remember correctly, this dates back to the early 1920s, and it used to be the original highway into Sedona, Arizona, and after a good downpour, the creek starts flowing, and it didn't look like it was flowing when I was driving by, but I figured since we got a little bit of time, why not go in for a closer look. Throughout the Sedona, Camp Verde area, there are probably hundreds of ancient ruin sites out here, and whenever I come out to these washes, I'm always looking through them, seeing what I can find. You never know if any fossils or old Native American tools will pop up. There's the bridge, knocking on roughly 100 years old. The majority of the time that I've come out here, there's always people out here, which is okay. I have no problem with that. But this actually makes for a really fun visit when the leaves start to change. And I was just thinking to myself, how cool would it be to witness a small wave of water come rushing through here? Like if they got hit with a good downpour in like Flagstaff or North Sedona and the water just started gushing down here. That would make for some amazing drone footage. And by the way, if anybody is curious about this location, it is open to the public, so anybody can come out here, hike, explore, have a picnic, take selfies, scroll through TikTok on your phone on top of a bridge if you really want to, but this place is not open to douchebags that vandalize, so keep that in mind. I'm not one to pass up anything old, abandoned, or forgotten. I mean, the stories this bridge could tell if bridges could talk. When you think about the amount of people that traveled across here on foot, horseback, and on some of the earliest automobiles, the fact that it's still standing is pretty impressive. But I wouldn't try walking across it today unless breaking your bones and tetanus is your thing, but it's not mine. The weather up here can be a little more harsh than down in the valley. They do see a lot more rain and thunderstorms up here, and they do get snow from time to time. Now, I hate cold weather because I'm from Minnesota, but it actually looks kind of nice when it does snow up here. The contrast between the cocaine white snow and the vibrant red rock looks like something out of a fairy tale. I really wish I could do a lot more droning in Sedona, but due to the amount of state parks, wilderness areas, and on top of that, the airports, it makes it incredibly tough to fly here. But in an alternative universe where you could fly drones here with zero restrictions, I promise you, you would hear non-stop buzzing sounds, and everybody would be flooding the internet with drone photos and videos of Sedona. Technically, that's already kind of going on, but with cell phones. And in the end, it wouldn't be such a special place anymore. All of its glorious views would be spoiled by technology and potentially lead to a decline in tourism. But every once in a while, I like to give you guys a sneak peek.
The next day.
We are currently heading east on Highway 60 out to the Superior Globe, Miami area. This is an area that is notorious for flash floods. Originally, the forecast said that it was supposed to start raining around noon, and then it changed to around 2 p.m., and now it's saying it's not supposed to rain until around 4:30, 5 o'clock. After arriving into the little town of Superior, I parked my car and started flying my drone. There's a creek here that is dry most of the year, and I was thinking if I was patient enough, maybe it would start raining and I could see this creek come to life. It didn't, but take a good look at this wash because it won't be dry for too much longer. I had the weather station on in my car, and while they kept saying there is a good chance of showers for the evening of Friday, October 10th, the most I experienced on my excursion were some light sprinkles on and off. I tuned in to a few different weather stations while I was here, and the census that I was getting from all of them were Friday night and Saturday night were going to be the days with the heaviest rainfall, but I still had to be on alert. Here is some drone footage that I snapped of the skies around Superior, Arizona a couple weeks ago when they got hit with the first round of storms and flash floods. The mountain you see here is called Picketpost Mountain, and it has an elevation of 4,375 feet, above sea level. There's a thing you know. Unfortunately for me, I was not able to keep my drone in the air for too long because the wind was getting stronger and stronger, which is not good for a DJI Mini 4 Pro. But I am thankful that I was able to snap these clips of the dramatic weather and even catch a few flickers of lightning. The drone clips here were taken off of the 202 in Chandler, Arizona. This was a little bit of a risky flight, not only because of the wind near a major highway, but there is also the risk of dust getting into the motors and gimbal. But after every flight, I always do drone maintenance to make sure there is no dust, dirt, or any kind of debris in the motors. Flying in conditions like this, you can never be too safe. This dust storm was making its way in from Casa Grande and was moving north up Interstate 10. As soon as I got the alert, I sprung off my couch and head out on the highway. There's something so exhilarating about a dust storm and extreme weather that creates a rush of excitement. Now, I think we've seen just about all the dust storms, rain, flash floods, and thunderstorms for this year. But next year during monsoon season, I think I will make more storm chasing videos, if that is something that you guys would be interested in seeing. Let me know down in the comments. Hello everybody, Jesse's Drone Adventures reporting. It is Friday night, it's about 11:45, and this is the night before all the rain and the storms hit Arizona. It sounds like it's supposed to be pretty bad, and we're just kind of documenting the night before here. It's been sprinkling on and off. Ooh, and that is exactly what I came out here to see. Been lightning every so often, and some light rumbles in the distance. I can feel some sprinkles starting to come down again. And tomorrow, all day tomorrow, and all day Saturday, and maybe Sunday, depending on how heavy things are. We still might go out Sunday because I couldn't go where I wanted to make a video because of the weather. So we're just gonna try to, ooh, there's some more lightning. We're just gonna try to see what we can here. Oh, there's a porta-john over there. Hey, that's perfect. I gotta go. We're still out in Chandler, Arizona, and where we are at now, I actually have a few coworkers that live over here, and whenever I would stop by their place, when it was raining, there's this area up here that would always flood like crazy. The sad thing is there's a lot of cats that live in those drainage tunnels. Hopefully they made it out okay. There's gotta be water. Oh yeah, there's water over there. Oh, there's a lot of water today. It's probably about 2 feet deep in the center there. I've rode my bike through here on several occasions, not when it's this deep, but maybe when it's a couple inches deep. It's always fun. You get wet, but it's fun. I have no idea what parking lot this is for, but we are in Mesa, Arizona, not too far from the old Fiesta Mall, which they tore down like two years ago, I want to say. There's a little bit of blue in the sky over there. Supposedly, so the way the forecast made it seem, it was supposed to be downpouring in the morning, and then around a little after noon, it was supposed to mellow out a little bit, and then later in the day, around 5, 6, 7, that is when it's supposed to downpour again. I was really hoping that there would be some trucks out here whipping shitties, because that would be fun to film. And something that happened to me when I was out here 2 weeks ago, I was parked over there and I was flying my drone like by the highway because there was a little car accident and there was a traffic jam, and like I said, people were over here whipping shitties in the water, and there was a Mustang over there that was whipping shitties in the parking lot, and I started filming that with my drone because I thought it was cool. And I'll play that footage here in just a second. And we're gonna head over to Scottsdale and check out that flood channel and see if it's popping over there. And then after that, we're gonna head out to Globe, Superior, Miami, and see what the scene is looking like over there. That was freaking wet and cold. I know they've been preparing a lot over there these past few days for the potential flash flood, so let's go see what's going on. Welcome to the Indian Bend Wash Greenbelt in the fabulous Scottsdale, Arizona. And look, I'm sure a lot of you that haven't been to Arizona before or are not familiar with Scottsdale, you might be thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, look at all of that flooding. That is horrible. How does something like this happen, and why doesn't the city take measures to prevent something like this? Well, first of all, calm down, take a Xanax, and maybe take a couple deep breaths. This wash is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Sure, there is some flooding and a lot of silt gets displaced all over the place, and it may even interrupt the day-to-day recreational activities out here, but this is a small beneficial side effect compared to the alternative. Let me explain. Now, back in the day, this area used to be a huge flooding hazard. Seasonal rains would often flood the city streets and damage many businesses and homes. But in the 1960s and 70s, the Army Corps of Engineers presented a solution to the flooding problems, and that was to convert the wash into a concrete channel, just like the ones you see out in Los Angeles. And while this would have worked, the citizens of Scottsdale weren't having any of that. The Scottsdale residents, along with local officials and city staff, convinced the Army Corps of Engineers to scrap the concrete channel idea and replace it with an 11-mile-long multi-purpose greenbelt. A committee was then created to investigate the idea, survey the land, and really put forth an honest effort to making this possibility a reality. The city of Scottsdale had this included in their 1967 plan, and the future for this greenbelt was looking very promising. In 1970, a hurricane came up the Gulf of California and dumped about 4 inches of rain across Scottsdale in a 24-hour period. This left many parts of the city inaccessible due to flash floods and caused thousands of dollars in damage to many homes and businesses. This stressed the importance of the Greenbelt concept to the Army Corps of Engineers, and well, long story short, funds were approved, construction began in the 1970s, and it was completed in 1985. The footage you're seeing now was shot by me on my DJI Mini 4 Pro around noon on October 11th. What was once an area prone to disastrous flooding is now a vibrant rec area filled with countless activities for everyone to enjoy. And of course, it doubles as a flood prevention tool, helping to channel all of that water out of Scottsdale through the wash, where it will eventually end up in the Salt River/Tempetown Lake. Throughout the Greenbelt, you'll find everything from golf courses, playgrounds, lakes, ponds, disc golf courses, biking and walking paths, skate parks, baseball fields, basketball courts, and a stunning array of landscapes. In the 8 years that I've lived in Arizona, this was my first visit, and once all the water goes away and things dry up, I cannot wait to come back. And actually, we will be coming back tomorrow, so stay tuned. Now let's go see how things are looking in the Superior Miami Globe area. I could tell right away that Superior hadn't received any rain that day. Well, not just yet. The washes I saw off the side of the highway on the way there were dry along with Queen Creek. But later that night, that's a different story. I still couldn't pass up getting my drone up in the sky and capturing the views of the rock spires, also known as hoodoos. This is one of my favorite places to fly my drones, and when the water is flowing through the creek, it is such a sight to behold. And I'm not going to give it away, but when this place does get some rain, it creates some of the coolest hidden waterfalls. But that's for another day. Welcome to Miami, Arizona. These clips were shot on the afternoon of Saturday, October 11th, before Highway 60 was shut down. A couple weeks ago, heavy rains caused a flash flood, resulting in countless damages to homes and businesses in the area and leaving the streets caked in mud. And as if that wasn't bad enough, due to tropical storms off the coast of Mexico, by the time you see this video, they'll have already been hit by flash floods yet again. If you look closely in some of these clips, you can see how residents and business owners prepared by lining sandbags in front of their homes and buildings. Now, according to a recent ADOT post, due to flooding in the Globe Miami area, US 60 is closed in both directions between milepost 227 and 244. There is no estimated time to reopen the highway. After shooting these clips in Miami, I made a quick dash over to Globe to see how things were looking over there. Just like Miami, they were hit pretty hard, with vehicles being washed away, multiple damages, and even a few deaths. It was pretty surreal putting this video together, especially after seeing all the posts of the second round of flash floods, and being out here the day before and then coming back to my studio and piecing these clips together, knowing how bad things were going to be the very next day. It almost feels like something out of the Twilight Zone, but unfortunately, it happened. I remember thinking to myself as I was flying my drone around the town, there's definitely an ominous feeling in the air, knowing that very soon something bad is going to happen, but not knowing exactly when or to the degree of how bad. On my way back into the city, I pulled over in the little town of Gold Canyon to get gas, and I ended up staying a few extra minutes to capture these clips of the Superstition Mountains. The contrast of the lights and darks made for some pretty epic cinematic shots. The following clips were shot on Elliott Road just off of Arizona Loop 101 in Chandler, Arizona. After grabbing a coffee and Slim Jim, I checked my phone and I started seeing all the reports of streets and highways that were underwater across the valley. I eventually saw a Facebook post of all the water rushing through the flood channel back in Scottsdale. I quickly made my way over there, and this is what I saw. And just to reiterate what I stated earlier in case anyone skipped forward in the video, what you are seeing here, this is completely normal. I know to some, at first glance, it may look like a destructive flood in the park, but this is doing exactly what the Indian Bend Wash Greenbelt is designed to do, and that is flood control. Instead of the heavy rain collecting in neighborhoods, destroying homes, businesses, and people's prized lawns, the water is routed to the wash you see here, where it will eventually flow into the Salt River a few miles downstream. Now, there may be some minor damage, and without a doubt, a lot of maintenance hours will go into cleaning up the parks, trails, and removing the numerous amounts of debris. But it still outweighs the cost of no flood control efforts and millions of dollars in damages had this not been implemented. After checking out the Greenbelt in Scottsdale, I decided to head out to Superior, Arizona once more to see if Queen Creek was flowing. This is what it looked like back on October 10th, and this is what it looked like 2 days later. How gorgeous is that? And that is known as Apache Leap. And of course, Highway 60 was closed off at exit 227, so I could not go any further. But it was a beautiful day out, and it's always a real treat to see water flowing in Queen Creek. I was there for maybe an hour, and I saw many families come and go, checking out the creek, taking photos, and simply just enjoying the time being outside.